Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 305 Gridiron. On tonight's show, we are going to be previewing preseason week 1 already. That's right, Dolphins football is almost back already. Cannot wait to get into it. Let's roll that intro so we can start chatting about what our Miami Dolphins are going to look like in the preseason of 2026.
Yeah, welcome to the 305 Gridiron. Anthony and Josh in the zone. They just slid on, breaking down plays all day. That's the biz zone. Every snap, every trap, every blitz on. Talk turf, talk tape, talk pride. From the tailgate smoke to the goal line drive. Aqua Ace cooking heat when the mics turn up. If you reppin' Miami, put your hands right up. Hey, this the 305 Gridiron. Dolphins talk, we live it up. Anthony and Josh, Aqua Ace, yeah, they light it up.
Fins up, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 305 Gridiron. I am Anthony Pinzone, your host for this. No time, just facing some technical issues. So as soon as he gets in, we will roll him into the show. On tonight's show, of course, we are live yet again, as we are now back on our live schedule. Mondays, starting next week, it'll be every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Would love for you to join us. But on today's show, we are talking Miami Dolphins actual real-life football already. On Friday, August 14th, that's next week, we are facing the Washington Commanders in the preseason. How crazy is that? So 5 questions that we need answered against the Washington Commanders. First of all, we played the Commanders last year. I know we mentioned on last week's show. We don't play them often. We don't play the 3 teams that we're playing in the preseason very often. The Commanders, the Giants, and the Falcons. But we get a chance to play them in the preseason here. I don't know who we're going to see. I doubt we're going to see Jaylen Daniels, right? But it'll be a chance for us to see the rookies play for the first time. All 13 of the ones that we drafted and 10 or 11 more of ones that we didn't. Undrafted free agents. So this is a really good. I mean, I can't wait, right? I just can't wait because there was so much talk about the rookies already. The draft was all the way back in April, and now we're coming on almost. Football's almost here. It's almost time for us to see what these guys have. Training camp just started, right? We got a little bit of training camp action in there, and things have been looking good. If you haven't been following Travis Wingfield's training camp updates, I'm gonna read a few of them before we get into our first segment, which is the questions we need answered by this first preseason game, and it's more just things to look out for, right? But first, let's take a look at how things have been going. So Malik Willis has been looking pretty good in training camp so far. On Friday, you could argue he had his best day. Connecting with Caleb Douglas a few times, connecting with Tutu Atwell. We had a touchdown for one of the tight ends whose name I'm absolutely blanking on right now. Ben Sims, for Ben Sims. So Malik Willis has so far looked the part. They just had their first day of pads. I want to say it was yesterday, maybe Monday. Finally got into pads. So we'll start to really see what these guys have, because up to this point they've just been in shorts, right? You and I can go in the yard and sling a football in shorts and look decent at it. Not NFL decent, but we can look decent. So it's important to see these guys in pads. I'm really excited to see more out of Caleb Douglas. I mentioned that a ton already in the show. Just because the excitement that the coaching staff has for this player is not the excitement that the fan base has for this player. So I kind of want to see where the disconnect is happening there, because that intrigues me, right? What is going on? After that, let's see. Jaylen Wright looking pretty good, which is good to hear because Ollie Gordon's been kind of stealing the show so far. We had a 70-yard touchdown last Thursday, and now Jaylen Wright is getting involved a little more. So I think very much the camp battle there between Ollie Gordon and Jaylen Wright for the RB2 position is to heating up, I think is a good term to use for that. Like, Achane is obviously the RB1. Nobody's gonna fight Achane for that RB1 spot. So he's got that locked and loaded. But I think there's expectations for Ollie Gordon, at least for me and Josh. Like Ollie Gordon came in with a pedigree from college, at least in his junior year. We've talked about it, or his second to last year. We've talked about it a ton. And we're hoping that he can recover some of that and gain some momentum in the NFL. But of course, Jaylen Wright is saying, hey, what about me? I was drafted the year before Ollie. I was here before him. Like, I want to get involved too. Jaylen Wright is a little bit of a mixture between Ollie and Achane. Like, he's got more, I would say he's got more strength than Achane, and he has more speed than Ollie, but he's not better. He doesn't have better strength than Ollie, and he doesn't have better speed than Achane. So he's kind of like just the two of them, poor man's version of each of them combined. But if he can start to impress and start to put some consistent reps in, I think I'd be pretty excited about that. Let's see, Travis, what else is going on? Ollie Gordon, we talked about already. Kadyn Proctor has looked great, which is amazing news to hear. When you take the offensive guard 13th overall in the first round, you were hoping that he can come in and make an impact immediately. It's already looking like that's true. Chop Robinson looking really good. Patrick Paul looking really good. Kenneth Grant has been flashing. And then the story, I think, that has come out recently that is maybe a little bit surprising, maybe not. It depends on how big of a fan you are. But Kevin Coleman been a surprise in camp there. Great to see him actually shining in camp. Oh, speaking of shining, our boy Josh just jumped into the studio here. We will get him in here in just a sec. Josh, you let me know when you're ready, buddy, and we'll make the transition. All right, so let's go ahead to our dual host and add Josh to the stage. We're on the wrong side, Josh, but you're okay.
Oh, no. What's up, guys?
How you doing, man? Check you're on the right mic there, my friend, before we chat too long. And then we'll get into it. So before you joined in, I hadn't talked about the actual game yet. I wanted to talk about Travis's notes on training camp so far. And talked about how a lot of the players who are looking good already we've talked about, and I just got into Kevin Coleman. I think it was either you or Taylor just sent an update over text today or yesterday about how Kevin Coleman was a surprise at camp so far. Yeah. And I think there's no position that needs a surprise in camp more than the wide receiver position. So I'm pretty hopeful that Coleman is a legit thing.
Yeah, me too. And you want to see the young ones obviously hit and surprise more so than anyone else, because we've just spent an entire offseason talking about them. But at this point, to what you and I have talked about before, I'll take anyone. I'll take legitimately anyone popping off. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. At first you thought Kevin Coleman was just going to be a return specialist of sorts in year one. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. So Kevin Coleman, Caleb Douglas has looked pretty good. Of course, we're not going to see Chris Bell for a while. So there's that. And we have a lot of training camp to go. I think we're a bit ahead of when the preseason week 1 starts. I think it's next Friday, if I remember correctly. The 14th. Is that next Friday? Yeah. So we're a week ahead, which means we have another week of training camp to get more info before we see these guys in real football action. Let's call this a clerical error because of our excitement for real live football. That's what I'm gonna chop it up to. But what we wanted to talk about today, and what we're still going to talk about today, is the questions you want answered from the first preseason game. And of course, we're probably going to do this for every preseason game, right? But so we will gauge the questions based on okay, which preseason game is it? So knowing it's the first preseason game and knowing that everybody is going to be rusty, not only because it's their first live action football in months, eight months, but also because this is a very new team. Virtually everybody on the roster is new. And, I think what's important to see in preseason week 1 is going to be very different from what's important to see in preseason week 2.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
So I know you want to focus on the players we're watching, and we will get into that in a second. But I want to at least ask one of these questions that we have tuned up, and we can ask the rest later. Mm-hmm. But I'm really interested in, does the team look any different? Because I think we're looking at that in training camp, and we're looking at that in preseason. Like, is the team fundamentally as different as we expect them to be?
Yeah, really the question is, does the team pass the eye test? We have a whole new front office. We have a whole new coaching staff. We have a whole new, at this point, we have a whole new ownership group. I mean, same ownership group, just different people running the show. We have players at damn near every position that weren't on this team before, both young and one-year veterans. I mean, this is a new team. I mean, this is the epitome of what a teardown looks like. And what the start of a rebuild looks like. You have a bunch of rookies, a bunch of young players, and a bunch of one-year contract guys. So, what I really want to see is, in the vein of, does this team look different, is how does this team handle adversity? When they come out of the tunnel for the first time, not this week but next week, what do they look like? Are they buttoned up, or is it kind of a shit show? Are they well coached? Do they take coaching well, like in-game coaching? Like, what do the sidelines look like? Who's picking up who? If somebody makes a bad play, like, these are all of the things that under a Mike McDaniel run team were questionable at a lot of times, because he was trying to be everyone's best friend. And Hafley, at least from my impressions of him, seems to be more disciplined, seems to be more on his game, and is more of and we said it last show, more of an adult in the room. So how does that play with some of these younger players? How does it play with some of these veteran players? I'll be curious to hear your thoughts, but on this specifically, now that the key veterans have had their extensions done, do you think that makes a difference?
I don't, because these guys are all professionals, right? Yeah. Outside of Achane, these guys are all on second contracts at this point, if not third. I think Brewer's on his third, and Brooks is on his second. So I'd expect that they're going to continue to work as hard as they did after they got their other contracts, right? I mean, Achane knows he's going to be the focal point of the offense. I don't think there's no hiding that, right? The coaching staff isn't going to shy away from the fact that, hey, man, you're going to have a workload this year. And he's already talked about in interviews about how he needs to take on more of a leadership role, which is not his strong suit, but, he understands that he has to do it. When you're like in your third year and you're already a veteran, or fourth year and you're already like the veteran presence on the offense, that's just something you're thrown into.
Yeah, that's a problem. Well, it's not a problem. I mean, I say that tongue in cheek, but it's, it's also a cool situation for him to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but I think none of those guys are going to play, right? So that's the.
Well, really? You think so? Because don't forget, we only get 3 of them.
I know. I don't think they play in week 1. I'd be surprised if they play in week 1, but maybe get the rust off or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see them play a little bit in each game, but I just, that's just a fan.
I think they get a series, maybe 2. Right?
Malik should play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, I don't think he's done enough to deserve the veteran you're not playing treatment, even though our whole offense pretty much relies on him.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Sealer, Brewer, Brooks, and Achane, basically the extendees, I think everyone needs to play as much as possible, right? Maybe Patrick Paul, you can make the argument for Patrick Paul, but he needs to build, continuity with well, not only with themselves, but he also with Proctor sitting next to him,
That's what makes me laugh. We get all these offensive line updates in training camp before the pads even go on. I'm like, what the hell do I care if he would manage to block a defensive lineman with no pads on? Like, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What am I supposed to take from this? But of course, I was giving Travis Wingfield his flowers here at the beginning of this show because he does such a great job with the training camp updates.
Oh, it's amazing.
That. Yeah, to your point, just some slight Dolphins news coming out. Last year we talked about on the show about how Stephen Ross was planning on handing over the reins to his son-in-law. It looks like that is now in motion, or if not completed already. And then Garfinkel has stepped down from one of his 17 titles.
I didn't realize he was with the team for like 15 years. Is that what I read?
Yeah. I love how they defined it. They called it what was the wording? I should bring up that text, but it was something like game change, 15 game changing years or life changing years or something like that. I'm like, doing what? Because you haven't improved this team.
Yeah. So CEO Tom Garfinkel is announcing that he is stepping away from his role as president and CEO after 13 transformational years.
There you go.
Yeah.
Transformational years.
I'll be honest. My first initial gut was fucking really transformational years. But when you read the things that he was part of, bringing the Miami Grand Prix to Miami, building the stadium, buying the grounds, building, he was part of in a small way the new Inter Miami Stadium project. He was bringing all kinds of philanthropic, I think is the term, charitable events and stuff like that. So I mean, it wasn't just, hey, you hired Chris Greer, you're an asshole.
No, of course, and I'm being tongue in cheek, of course, because the president of a football club does way more than football, but pretty much hardly any football, if we're being honest. Once you're to that point, you're not really in you're not sitting in meetings and shit of the football operations. You're checking in with your guys, like, everything going good? Yeah. Okay. I gotta go back to the 6,000 other things.
Everyone's still breathing.
Yeah. Right. And that goes for the president, CEO of any corporation. Right. I mean, they are not in the weeds, and if they are, that's not a well-run company.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Hey, let's talk about some players that we're excited to watch here, though. And we're going to probably talk about this more next week. Now we'll have to shift the schedule. We'll talk about that after the show. But let's at least talk about the guys that we're excited to watch, because let's be honest, when you are a team this young that's been completely turned upside down, which almost nobody is giving a chance to compete, the first thing you want to do is see if the rookies can prove those people wrong. Is your young talent going to not know any better, is the term that they use, which is such a dumb term. But anyways, I'm going to use it because I like to be cliche. Are they not going to know any better so much that they actually win games they're not supposed to? Are they going to make the team look better than it actually is? I know you've put 6 names on this list. I got to say, these 6 players have an absolute opportunity to make a difference and to actually make it so that Miami maybe surprises some people.
Yeah, and I think really, and it's really funny. I was sitting there thinking about the show and the topics that we've talked about over the last, basically the entire offseason. And I feel like I'm being very repetitive with some of the things that I say, but it's really to drive a point home. And I don't intend on I don't set out every show to be super repetitive or to say the same things over and over again. But look, we are rebuilding. This is a young team. If you are going to succeed, this is the place to succeed at. This is the place you want to be, because you are basically, everybody and everything is starting over from scratch. There are no expectations, or at least there shouldn't be very high expectations. We're fans, which is short for fanatic, which means we're delusionally optimistic about the Miami Dolphins. Let's be realistic for a second. We're not going to be a very good team.
Well, we don't think.
We don't think. I mean, hey, you know what? I would love to be wrong, and I will happily stand on my chair and say, you know what? The crow tastes delicious. We won 10 games, right? But I don't think that that's reality. It's what it's what my heart wants, but it's not what my head thinks is really going to happen. And so what this is not only a transitional year, in my opinion, but this is a rebuilding year, but this is also a year or two in which we finally see the culmination of a rebuild from when it started, right? Hafley's in, Sully's making decisions. You have hopefully not a lot of turnover in the coaching staff year over year. And you can start to see the breadcrumbs falling into place on these practices. You start seeing the way these young players, Jacob Rodriguez for an example, how they are speaking to the media in these sessions post practices. They're all really well spoken. They're all really smart. They have a high football IQ. Every single one of them. They love the game. They're the first ones in. They're the last ones out. And to have a group of rookies, it's different when you say, well, the vets are the first ones in, the first ones out. Of course they are. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about, Jacob Rodriguez, it has been reported on multiple, sites and blogs and podcasts and reports. He is usually one of the first 3 people in the building, and he's usually one of the first 3 to leave. That's what I want to see. That's what we love to see in young players. And unfortunately, you don't get it a lot because either they come in and they're overwhelmed, or they come in and understandable. I'm not criticizing them. Look, we get it. We've all started new jobs, and that's nothing compared to what these guys have to do coming from college, going right into combine training, going through the combine, going through the draft, and going right into your year one with no room for breathing, no downtime, no relaxing. But you want to see these guys, how mentally tough are they? What is their mental fortitude, if you will, for dealing with all of these hurdles? And I got to say, Proctor, Rodriguez, Johnson, a lot of the people we're about to talk about have seemingly, from what we're able to see and what we can read in reports for those that are closer than us, they seem to be doing real well, which is a breath of fresh air given what we just came from, for the last 15 years.
And I want to say, if you're a Dolphins fan who is looking for a positive spin on what this season could be, Taylor sent us a podcast I'd never heard of before, and I listened to it. Yeah. Bootleg Football. It's Brett Coleman, and I'm very sorry to the other host of the show. I do not remember your name. I will look it up in a minute. But they just take a step back look at everything that happened to Miami in the offseason, all the decisions we made in the offseason, the roster that we're currently putting together. And there's a lot of positive to take from that show because Coleman is very much an X's and O's guy, far more than you and I even. Mm-hmm. And he just breaks down what Hafley did so well in Green Bay and how it looks like he's incorporating it already in Miami. He talks about how they use Micah Parsons and compares it to how they're already using Chop Robinson. So clearly Chop and Micah, that role is going to be similar there. And I just learned a lot from listening to it about already seeing the comparisons between the Packers and the Dolphins, the current Dolphins, and the way Jeff Hafley is going to run things. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I walked away from that show feeling like, damn, my prediction of 6 wins is actually possible.
Sure.
If some of these things can just roll the right way. And it's 6, let's be fair. 6 wins is an absolute amazing season. Brett Coleman said if he were a Coach of the Year voter, he would vote for Jeff Hafley. If Jeff Hafley can win 6 teams in this situation with this team, that he should be considered for Coach of the Year, which,
he's not wrong.
Can you argue that?
He's not wrong at all. He's really not. And I don't know. I feel like it's so easy to say. We say it every single year. I got a feeling.
I'm already being sucked into the positivity train, and I said it was going to happen because it happens to us every year.
It really does.
Before camp starts, when there's no Dolphins news happening and the NFL is in a lull, we're like the biggest negative Nancy's on the planet, and then stories start coming out from camp and preseason and all this other shit, and you're like sucked in.
No, give it to me.
Give it all. Give it to me all.
It's true. It really is, and that's the hard part about being a fan. But more specifically, being a fan that hosts a podcast we try. Look, guys and gals that are watching, we do our damn best to be as honest and forthright and non-bias, I guess is a better way of saying
impossible
it. But it's impossible. It's impossible. And you can't help but have a smile. Again, through the lens of this team it's going to be a rough year. Because look, I know you, at least I think, based on our conversations, Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry if I am wrong ahead of time, but I think you tend to look at the strength of schedule conversation as a little hokum, because it's
I 100% look at it as a hokum,
whereas I don't, right? I think there's validity to the fact that we have the second hardest strength of schedule this year as a
But it's just
rebuilding team.
it's based on last year's record.
I know it
so
is.
Which means
I know
nothing,
it is.
right? It's
teams have changed. I get it, but I do think that where there's smoke, there's fire, for lack of a better term. And I think that's what's going to make it very difficult for us. To your point, after was it last show or the show before where you said, so I'm trying to think of how you worded it, but basically we're going to be in most games, but we're going to lose a lot of them by 3 points or whatever the case is. I forgot how you worded it. I have been thinking about that nonstop because I can see, yes, there will probably be 1 or 2 bad blowouts, right? Some horrible losses, maybe to teams that we shouldn't even, that we're in the first half of the game with, and then all of a sudden we lose by 48 points or something, right?
Yeah. I mean the 2 Bills games are going to be so hard.
But then I can fully see like the Raiders, right? Was it Raiders week 1? I think, if I'm not
Raiders
mistaken,
week 1, yeah.
where we're in it and then we lose by a field goal, for example, or we win by a field goal. And then whatever week 2 is where we're in it and we're down by 10 and we get a touchdown and then they get another touchdown and we lose by 10. Like those are the kind of games that I could see us, because I do think this team has talent. I think it's a lot of untapped talent. I think it's names that nobody knows outside of us Dolphins fans, right? The national media looks at Caleb Douglas and Chris Johnson and Jacob Rodriguez and says, who? Like those were cool guys in college. Who? But I think, I don't know. I'm passive aggressively optimistic.
I just know that every year there is a consensus that this team is going to be the worst, not the Dolphins, just a team is going to be the worst team in the league. And most years that's proven wrong. I keep thinking about like a few years ago. Remember when Dallas it just wasn't looking good. It was bad. Yeah. Their offseason went poorly. They hired a coach nobody thought they should have hired. Everybody was like, they are going to be.
Is that when they hired McCarthy?
Yeah. They're like, everybody's like, they're going to be god awful. And they went to the freaking playoffs that year. Like,
I mean, let me look. I'm not saying we will. And I don't want to spend too much time on this gravy train, but like, what if? Like, what would you do if this team made the playoffs? If this team this year, again, I'm not saying they will. I don't think they will. I don't think you think they will. But if they were, what would you like?
Every single day I'd call the Dolphins front office until somebody answered and they listened to me. And I would say, you need to give Jeff Hafley a lifetime contract.
And a hug from me.
And a hug. Yeah. Every day. Just give a ring, ring, ring. Eventually you get in. Make up something. Like you're a salesman for something or something, whatever.
I'm selling footballs.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the players, though. We have talked about everything but the players up to this point. And if you're joining us live, thank you so much for joining us. I know quite a few of you watched the last show after we went off air, and I'm sure that same thing will happen this time. So if you're watching right now and you're this far along, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We are getting closer to our goal of 250 subscribers by August 11th, but we're just 6 days away and 41 subscribers away. It's not feeling good, but we just need 41 of you out there to hit that subscribe button. That's not that many people, actually. I mean, I can hit 41 people with a rock just throwing it out the window.
Well,
let's get it done before I have to go knocking door to door to get 41 of my neighbors to sign up to subscribe to the podcast.
It's like the Latter-day Saints of 305 Gridiron.
I know all of my neighbors too. They'll be like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "I need you to subscribe to this podcast."
Here's the QR code. Do it now. I want to watch.
Yeah. All right. 6 players we're watching preseason week 1, which happens on August 14th, 9 days from today. 9 days away from Miami Dolphins football, by the way.
When is before we start, when is the Hall of Fame game? Is it
I think the Hall of Fame game is maybe this week.
Oh, maybe that's
Thursday. That's where I got tripped up with the schedule.
Gotcha.
So it could be tonight. I don't know. It's soon.
Yeah.
Let's talk Jacob Rodriguez, and I will look up when the Hall of Fame game is. So Jacob Rodriguez, our second round pick. We never expected to draft a guy we loved in the pre-draft process. If you go look at our website and look at our mock drafts and look at our big board and look at all of our offseason content, you will see Jacob Rodriguez's face, name, and likeness all over the place because we were huge fans of him. What's that?
I said it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. We were huge fans of him even before we drafted him. And then we drafted him and we damn near had heart attacks. We had to make some calls to the emergency rooms. All right. He is obviously number 1 on the 6 players we are most excited to watch here in preseason week 1. The biggest question, Josh, of course, is will he already look like a starting NFL linebacker?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, do I think he will? Absolutely. I am the biggest Jacob Rodriguez Glazer probably out there. I think he is going to be a 10, 15-year type Pro Bowl player. I think he's got everything you want in a player. You see it in practice, you read it. But I am very curious to see. I mean, this is just my opinion. Who knows? I mean, how many top college talent that I was so sure about fizzled, right, and didn't pan out. I mean, I can name more of them by tenfold than I can about the ones that actually succeeded. And I will say this: I think if anyone is going to succeed from our draft class, it's going to be him. I think his pedigree, we talked about it last show. He was, mentored by Zach Thomas because, at Texas Tech. Then he was also mentored by his running mate in Jordan Brooks. It's the stash. Hell yeah, it's the stash. And it's the stash. That's really what gets me. I could care less about how he plays football. He's just got a beautiful stash. No, but what I'm really curious about, and what I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on, not only about does he look like an immediate star, does he look like he belongs, I guess is a term that we hear a lot of national media people say about these young guys, but it's, do you think, or can he, I guess, flash the instincts and the leadership and the kind of it factor that he had at Texas Tech when he made the transition from quarterback to linebacker? I forgot what school he played quarterback at, and then he transitioned to Texas Tech. They were like, dude, we don't need a quarterback. Do you want to play linebacker? And he's like, yeah, sure. Why not?
I truly think he's going to be the talk of preseason week one. When all these morning shows, Get Up on ESPN, Good Morning Football on NFL Network, it's going to be all Jacob Rodriguez because he is. I hope he plays. Like that. It's a silly question to expect that he might not play. Right?
I mean, he should. But again, it's that balance between getting young players that are guaranteed starters. Yeah. If he's not playing, he's a guaranteed starter. Reps versus protecting them from injury. You know what I mean?
Well, and here's why I think he'll be the talk of the show, because I think that if he does play and he's playing against, Washington's second teamers, Jacob Rodriguez is going to be way better than Washington's second teamers. Like he's going to wreak havoc on whoever's playing quarterback for them, whoever's playing receiver, whoever's tight end, whatever he has to go up against. He is just going to absolutely wreak havoc. He's going to force a fumble because
Are you calling it? Because I was going to ask you, do you think that he forces a fumble in this game?
He's done it all training camp.
I know, yes.
He did it against Devon Achane, who is like the least likely player to fumble on our team. And he got Achane to fumble. Yeah. So you're asking me if a second string running back on Washington is going to be able to withhold the Jacob Rodriguez's essentially perfect peanut punch technique? No, I don't think so.
I read, speaking of the peanut punch, I read that he's actually staying back and working with some of the safeties.
Oh, really?
On peanut punch and showing them his technique and talking about how he approaches it and what he looks for. And there's, if you guys haven't seen it, and I don't know if you saw it, there was I think it was an NFL Live. I don't remember what program, so maybe it'll be a little.
Yeah, it was NFL Live. It was him and one of our other rookies.
It was him. It was Smith, the wide receiver, the retired. What the hell is his name? Steve Smith, and somebody else, and they were asking him about, hey, how is it going? They talked about the peanut punch and
was it Jesse Palmer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But he ended up, he broke down his peanut punch and when it makes sense to do it, the risk versus the reward. I think Kyle Krabs also asked him a question in one of the media sessions post-practice about that specific thing. The way he breaks it down, you can tell he's got this thing down to a science and that he's put a lot of effort and a lot of emphasis in his game and in his development as a young player in college and now a young player in the NFL and making this kind of his staple, right? I'm super curious to see what he does. The real question is, do you think that he flashes those instincts and leadership? Do you think that he shows he belongs?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it takes him a while? Because I mean, that's reasonable to accept, right?
It is, but I think as soon as the veterans got in camp, all you kept hearing was Jacob Rodriguez, Jacob Rodriguez. I mean, it hasn't taken him any time to make a name for himself in camp against, our guys who are already there, as few of them as there are. I think he's going to come in and, Washington's going to be trying to see what their rookies can do. And I think he's going to make some plays.
Yeah.
I'm way more curious about how Chris Johnson's going to perform though, because Jacob Rodriguez, I'm fully confident in.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Johnson, I am still on the fence, but I'm hearing so many good things from Wingfield on Chris Johnson in training camp that I really want to see him against an NFL receiver. And I don't know if a real NFL receiver is going to be playing for Washington in this game. I'm sure
They did just sign Stephon Diggs. So
I doubt Diggs is going to, right? Like Terry McLaurin, I doubt is going to play, right? I mean, dude's always hurt. I don't even know if he's I don't even know if he's healthy right now.
Yeah.
But I'm way more curious on essentially the same questions to you that you just asked me about Jacob Rodriguez, about those questions with Chris Johnson. This is a first round pick, by the way. Jacob's a second. So expectations should be higher.
Expectations should be higher with a giant massive asterisk.
Then they're not higher, are
they? Look, I'm trying to think of the word. I was questioning the selection until I heard the way Hafley and them talked about this specific player unprompted. If you remember in the draft process, they drafted them, they went bananas. And I know they always do, but this was like over the top. And then Hafley came out and said, this was one of the guys that we were ready to take at 13. This was one of the guys, I can't believe he fell. Oh my God, he's going to be a CB1. And when you have a new head coach who has a distinct defensive background, specifically in the secondary, you kind of have to believe, okay, look, if Chris Johnson is the guy, then he's the guy. And everything we've read, you just talked about it, everything that we've read and everything that we hear coming out of training camp is that this dude is around the balls. He's always around the ball. He holds the ball on the sideline. He's in the pocket of slot receivers. He's in the pocket of your big X receivers. He's running. He's completely boxing out players with his big frame and swatting balls away. You hear that he's got a few interceptions in practice in the one-on-one drills. And it's just one of those things where, can you hold up right against different receivers that you're not used to? How what I look for in young cornerbacks, especially ones that are drafted in the first round, but ones of his stature, how do you flip your hips? Can you stay in the pocket? Can you run the route for the wide receiver? Can you put yourself in positions to be between, the player that you're covering, the wide receiver, and the ball? Because if you can do that, Chris Johnson, that tells me you have what it takes to be a CB1. Will he do it? I don't know. Cornerback is a hell of a difficult position to make a transition into the NFL for, because you're going, in college, there are times where he's lining up against, a two-star recruit. In the NFL, you're going against 5-star recruits constantly. So,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
There's no 2-star recruit in the NFL.
I mean, I can think of a few on the Dolphins.
No, but you're not facing them often, if ever.
Right.
And when you do, the quarterback makes sure that they get benched almost immediately. At least good quarterbacks.
Yep. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think that he does it? Do you think that he shows? I mean, again, we don't know. He's a presumed starter. So who knows if maybe he doesn't play at all.
Oh, he better be out there.
Right.
He better be out there. But I'm pumped because I really trust Wingfield's opinion. Not that I don't trust Hafley and Sully's opinion. I do. But they're going to talk up their guys no matter what.
Of course they are.
Like, Wingfield's never going to downplay somebody because he works for the Dolphins, but he picks and chooses who he talks up, right? And the fact that he's regularly chosen to talk up Chris Johnson in his training camp stands out to me. And as much as it stands out about the next guy we're going to talk about too, by the way. So I just want to see reps, man. I want to see reps for all these guys. I know that's such a stupid basic answer, but for Chris Johnson especially, I need to see what he looks like out there to see if we have any hope of stopping anything this season. And I know that they want to move him around a lot too. So let's see if they do it. Let's see if they do it right off.
Do you think that because I've read some reports that he's been lining up a lot inside. But he's got the frame of an outside receiver, the speed of an outside cornerback, rather.
I feel I want to argue that we need an outside guy more than we need an inside guy. I mean,
yeah, agreed. Yeah,
But
at this point, I'll take
anybody good.
Like, let's build off of it, man.
He can do pretty good.
And speaking of questionable draft picks that we thought were curious, what about Caleb Douglas?
This guy has the absolute best opportunity to make a name for himself right away.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'm hoping Malik plays. I really think Malik should play. And I want to see their connection. They have we talked about it before any camp started.
Mm-hmm.
You and I talked about who is going to be in Malik's ear constantly. Who is going to be the gnat that doesn't go away, right? Who's going to be the guy that he has that ultimate connection with, and when shit's hitting the fan, he's going, that guy.
That's my guy. Malik
so
Washington.
Far, it's been Caleb Douglas.
Okay.
So far, it's been Caleb Douglas, and that is not what we expected.
Nope. I thought HN tight end Malik Washington before any of the rookies. Yeah.
And Caleb Douglas has mossed Chris Johnson. Yeah. He's ripped the defense for huge gains regularly, which is what we knew he could do. The mossing of the corner, a physical big corner like Chris Johnson, is not something we really, at least I, knew that he could do. Really pumped to see that. So I want to see just the same shit he's been doing in training camp. It needs to translate, man. Mm-hmm. It's great that you're doing it in practice. It's great that you are taking to the coaching and you're improving and you're coming from a small school system and already, right, showing your worth as a guy who you heard all the noise. I mean, these guys hear the noise.
Well, I mean,
fans weren't happy about this pick.
No, neither were we. Caleb Douglas was from Texas Tech, though, right?
Oh, that's a pretty big school. My apologies.
I mean, that's Jacob Rodriguez.
Was he in a small school before then?
No, I think you're thinking of Chris Johnson. He was at San Diego State.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Sorry about that. All right, whatever. But he still comes. Yeah.
Point made.
He still comes from a system where he wasn't exactly like lighting. It wasn't lighting it up, right? I mean, that was our main concern when we drafted him. And our in our response, our reactions to the draft was like, this wasn't a guy who was exactly lighting up the college ranks.
No.
And then we take him before Chris Bell, who was lighting up the college ranks, despite the injury. So if I could have to eat crow on Caleb Douglas immediately, it would be the best crow I ever had. Like, it's the number one guy I want to be wrong about.
Yeah. Yeah. He's number 2 on my list. But Proctor's number 1 for me. But we'll talk about him momentarily. But getting back to Caleb Douglas, the one thing that I'm really curious about is the separation, right? He's a big guy, but he's fast. The problem is he doesn't, because he's more of a leaner body, not lean. I think he's like 217. Right. So
he's lean for an NFL player.
Right. He's lean for a 6'3", wide receiver, I would say. Yeah. Personally, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe he just holds it really well. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. But what I'm really curious about is how he handles the press against professionals who practice it on a daily basis and who hone in their skills. And can he create separation against NFL caliber cornerbacks? Now, I understand, a huge one. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of key. And I like what we've seen from his route tree in practice, or at least from the reporting. He's run very crisp routes. To your point, he's Malik Willis's kind of go-to guy right now. But we saw that Preston Williams. Remember Preston Williams from a handful of years ago?
Wow. I forgot about him. Yeah.
He was everyone's fucking darling. And not in preseason, but
for years too.
But in training camp, right? And then he got a little nicked up, he got a little banged up, and then he just kind of disappeared. And that's what I don't want to see. That's what I'm afraid of, is the injury bug kicking into these young guys, because like we talked about at the beginning of the show, or halfway through the beginning of the show, because I decided to show up late because I have stupid technical problems. These guys have not had a chance to really rest their bodies. That is the problem with young talent, is that they come right out of the college season. They go right into training with their personal trainers for the combine. Then they go right into the combine. Then they go right into the draft. Then they to their not college combines. What do they call it? Pro days. Thank you. They go right from from the combine to their pro days when they're training there. Then they go to the draft and they come right into rookie minicamp, OTAs, and preseason. So they don't have a chance to rest their body. So I just want to see how all of these guys hold up. But specifically about Caleb Douglas, does all of this impact your separation ability? If that makes sense.
Agreed. And if he's playing, he will be facing Rasul Douglas here. Who
Shut up,
signed
really?
with Washington. Yeah.
pretty cool.
I don't know if Rasul is going to play in week 1 of the preseason, but if he does, that's a very tough thing to ask of a rookie receiver. So good luck, Caleb. If you can beat Rasul, though, I'm feeling good. Also, like to your point about training camp darlings, we have to watch out for preseason darlings because not only was Preston Williams a training camp darling, but we had Easy E in here who was the ultimate preseason darling, and then could not get on the field.
I don't think I've ever been more wrong about a player in my life.
I think he's out of the league now, right?
Yes. I think he's in
Is he in the UFL?
No, Canada, I think.
Okay.
I think one of the UFL or Canada he signed.
Shame, man. I really thought he was going to be something, and he just never did.
I got to be honest with you. I didn't think a lot of him coming out of college, but when we saw him in practice, I was like, all right, all right. And I'll be curious to. And this might be stupid, but because I know I'm going to word it incorrectly, but like. And it's a half-cocked thought, but like I feel like players that are talented really succeed when given an opportunity to succeed. And I know it seems like such an obvious thing to say, but like, Achane was a 2nd round running back out of Texas A&M. I was super or 3rd round, 2nd round, 3rd round,
3rd, I think. Yeah.
3rd round. I was insanely high on him, and I was banging the table for us to draft him. If you remember those conversations from a handful of years ago, but he got an opportunity and he seized the opportunity. What I'm afraid of is that some of these rookies might fall down on the depth chart to veteran talent because this coaching staff is trying to implement change, is trying to implement a scheme, and he doesn't pop, if that makes sense. So I'll be really curious to see what he does.
Hey, speaking of pop, let's talk about Kyle Lewis, my man. So it looks like Kyle Lewis is going to be playing linebacker for the most part here. We learned that news before last week's show. Despite being drafted as a safety, he was a linebacker and a safety in college. It looks like he's going to get a go at linebacker first here in the NFL ranks. Kyle Lewis, of course, I have expressed my love for him. So you must know that what I'm expecting to see or hoping to see out of him. But obviously, it's preseason. He'll play defense, but obviously he's going to need to make a name for himself on special teams as well. A 4th round pick. You have Jordan Brooks and Jacob Rodriguez in front of you. Gonna be hard to crack that lineup.
We also have Dotson, and I know we're not high on Dotson, but Dotson's been making
and Dotson in front of you too. Yeah, I mean, I just meant like I think that Rodriguez and Brooks are solidly locked in front of him.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And, unless they plan on playing him in a 4-3, more like 4-3 sets, where they have you seen anything? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but your thought, but have you seen anything about what we're running from a scheme standpoint? Because I haven't. No, I guess we'll find out in 9 days on August 14th.
Fair.
I still haven't seen anything. I mean, we can take a guess based on, Hafley's, but like, that's the thing. Hafley's never run the same system. Like everywhere he goes, he tailors it to who he has. It would be like, I know you're a big fan of the 3-4 and I like the 3-4 too, but then your edge rushers take up 2 of those linebacker spots. Whereas if we're playing a 4-3, then we have 3 legitimate off-ball linebackers out there and the edge rushers are your defensive ends. So I think, I can't wait to see what we do. But in terms of Kyle Lewis, though, I'm looking for athleticism. I'm looking for pop off the screen, like make an impact, right? There's a lot of question marks around you coming out of college. Even though we really liked you, you fell to the end of the 4th round. You were a compensatory pick in the 4th round, which means you were a 5th round pick.
Yep.
You need to pop. Right? Nothing is given to the player drafted this late in the draft. So I really want to see like all of the cool, fun traits that we saw in college and that we loved and fell in love with in the pre-draft process. I need to see that become reality.
Yeah. And really what I'm looking for Kyle Lewis is all of what you said. Plus I want to see your game speed not take a dive because that tells me you're trusting your eyes as a linebacker and or a safety or a hybrid nickel or a big nickel or whatever. Or I'm sure
you are.
He is going to be a Swiss Army knife. He has the talent to kind of be plugged and played wherever he is needed.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see him question himself too much. And I know that's a lot, right? These guys again are young.
Yeah.
However, I think Kyle Lewis, of every single player that we've talked about so far, if he hits, he makes the biggest impact.
Yeah.
And it's not even close, in my opinion. I think he can play linebacker. He can play safety. He can play big nickel. He can play, coverage linebacker. He thumps as a run side. He does it all. He's a jack of all trades. And if he can if he can put it all together.
That's the thing, though. He has to lock in.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen an NFL player be able to switch positions like that. It just never happened. Isaiah Simmons was supposed to be that when he came out. Remember? He was supposed to be that hybrid safety linebacker, do it all, right? I think he's on like his 4th team by now. I mean, it just doesn't work. And we saw with Travis Hunter last year. He could be a receiver and a corner. They already locked him into one position because it just didn't work. Like
I knew that we knew that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
We said pick a position because you're not doing both.
And that's my thing for Lewis. And he doesn't being a 5th round, late 4th, early 5th round pick gives him the luxury, though, to be able to try all those positions before getting one locked in. If he were a 1st round pick, like Hafley and company would feel the pressure to lock him in now. Like, we are going to get him into a position we think fits him best, and we are going to lock him in. What's up, Cap, man? Welcome to the show. Cap? And I think that he is in such a unique position because of how late he was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the luxury of trying all these things. Mm-hmm. You get to go in when somebody goes down with an injury on at nickel corner, at safety, at linebacker, and you get to try all these positions. And you probably will get some say with the coaching staff as to which one you feel like you're the most comfortable with, right?
Mm-hmm. And that is one thing that I've actually heard the coaching staff talk about is listening to the players.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if the guys are out there and they're not having fun in the position you put them in, you're not getting 100%. Like if you go to work and somebody's absolutely like a boss is just nagging you every single day to do stuff that you aren't supposed to do or you don't like doing, you're gonna fucking hate your job, dude. And it's the same thing with these guys. These guys, it's a job for them. Like for us as fans, the team is everything to us, right?
Yeah.
But for these guys, it's a job. They're going to work. It's their 9 to 5. Like,
not for Jacob Rodriguez.
Well, yeah. Some of them are different.
Yeah.
We're not. I mean, we're not worried about anything. Just well, we either are or aren't worried about everything at this point.
No, and Cat for Life. This is a really good question. Are we worried about the tackles yet? No. I mean, I think going in, I was worried about one specific tackle. I think we all know who the hell it was because the guy can't stay healthy. And sure shit, he's nursing whatever the hell it is, a small injury, and Sawyer, our backup, is now dealing with an injury as well. So
also worry is contextual. Like if your expectations are very low, you're not really worried about
he's meeting Austin Jackson has met my expectations.
Right. Yeah. Like,
but yeah, I will be worried if come week 1, day 1, we're starting who was the guy that Charlie Hayes, like Charlie Heck, like
I mean, there's been some expectation, and we've talked about this all off season, is that one loss on the offensive line is going to crumble, right? I mean, it's just the unit is way better than it's been in years.
Yeah.
Let's preface it by saying
the starting unit. Yeah.
But there's not a 6th man yet. We don't have the 6th man. Most teams don't. We're being a little selfish as fans, but
and I do think Sawyer is that 6th man, but he's injured. But he came injured. So
speaking of offensive line, you want to talk about Proctor?
I do. I really, really do.
All right, go for it.
Proctor was a player when we selected him. If you guys, whoever chimed in or tuned in rather to our live draft coverage when we did it, you could tell Anthony and I were, is it polite to say questioning the decision?
Disappointment, I think, is a good word for what our feelings were on the
I was
selection.
Pissed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not pissed. That's a lie. I was frustratingly confused.
I think pissed is the right word because we traded down. Caleb Downs was still on the board,
which was a player, one of the 4 players that we identified as a don't trade away from. 2 of the remaining of the 4 were still on the board, in Ruben Bain Jr. and Downs.
Yeah, like we ended up in a position in that draft that we thought was an absolute dime position to be in. You mean Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain are both still on the board? Like,
Trade down
yeah,
and pick
trade
one of
down
them.
one and take Bain. Like then I was
Yeah.
pumped. Like, yeah, let's do it. Trade down
Mhm.
one. Okay, we lose Downs. That sucks. But we get a pass rusher in Ruben Bain to put up alongside Chop Robinson. And then the
Mhm.
pick is in.
And we were
Kadyn
like,
Proctor.
it's going to be Bain. It's going to be Bain. It's going to be Bain.
Yeah.
It's going to be Bain. And Proctor. Shit.
Kadyn, which we had heard hype about, but hype in terms of like being drafted by the Browns or something. Not
Well,
the
yeah,
Dolphins.
as in drafted in the top 10 out of Alabama. Better
They went with
fit.
Spencer Fano instead. So
Right. Better fit and guard. Okay, cool. I could see it. If we trade down to like 15 and he's still there, sure. Like those are the kind of conversations I was having in my head. And the more that I've listened to people talk about this guy, and the more that I've watched highlights and practice notes and listened to interviews, and I love this guy. The videos that have come out and surfaced from practice and OTAs, this dude could, I'm not saying he will be, I'm not saying he is, but he could be very special. And I don't know, seeing him next to Patrick Paul, they're both 6'7". I don't know. It just makes the 80s baby in me just gets elated. Right.
We are building an 80s, 90s style football team here for this year. That's for sure. Do we move Proctor? No. He'll be at left guard, I think.
No.
I just don't. I mean, I know they've talked about it. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks for putting that up.
I got you.
I know they've talked about moving Proctor around early on in the draft. Like right after we drafted him, everybody was asking Sully where we're going to put him. I think he's locked in at left guard.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, at college, he was left tackle. His body type, the way he moves, his strength in a phone booth, for lack of a better term, is better suited for him to play guard. I think you're putting next to, in my opinion, a top 2 center in the NFL in Brewer, and an upcoming potential perennial Pro Bowler at left tackle in Patrick Paul. It is the perfect scenario. It's the perfect situation. Our left side of the line, center to left tackle, set for years, in my opinion.
Also, something I haven't really thought about until this exact moment right here that we're talking about it is that if forbid Patrick Paul were to go down with an injury, at least Proctor can now just slide over.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Like if he's playing the right side at right guard and then Paul goes down, sliding from right guard to left tackle is not an easy transition. Yeah. I mean, neither is guard to tackle, but at least it's easier.
But it is for him because he played left tackle in college.
Yeah.
So he knows how to do the drop set and seals. He knows how to the proper way to be out on an island against an edge rusher.
That's what I mean. But if he were on the right side, he's going to be learning all training camp how to do that from his other side. Right? He's going to be rotating the wrong way.
What did Taylor call it? Learning how to wipe your ass with your other hand.
Yeah, I think whatchamacallit called it that. Dirk called it that.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, I mean, so who's an offensive line guy? So shout out to Dirk, by the way. Haven't heard from you in a long time, buddy. Hope everything's good. I know there were Canada fires and stuff like that. So
Frozen Fin fans who we're talking about out there.
Sorry.
Frozen Fin fan. Shout out to you, buddy. Yeah. So Kadyn Proctor, I agree with everything you said. I don't have much to add.
I do. I have one more thing to add about the Kadyn Proctor being and Cap. I'll be curious to hear you chime in the chat. The other really big thing is apparently Jonah has been balling out at right guard, which is where you and I both banged the table for Mike McDaniel. Bro, this is where he belongs. He was a right tackle in college. Like Proctor, he is a guard body build and everything. Put him at right guard. No, we're going to put him at left guard. Awesome. And you wonder why he was the worst guard in the NFL. But from everything that we've been, that I've read and that I've heard, and we're talking about Travis, we're talking about Kyle, we're talking about, some of the local Dolphins media. Jonah's looked fucking good, which makes me really happy because I was very high on Jonah when we traded up for him. Anyways.
Yeah, I'll say, on the Kadyn Proctor front, I have been pleasantly surprised. He hasn't played a single down yet, so I am not going to go too far. But if he's everything that they expect him to be, then that is going to be a hell of a selection.
And then you read the wing, is it Wingfield who does the Wingfield. I always say I want to call him Willingham, but that's a Critical Role D&D thing. Wingfield. Did you hear him? Oh, they him and Proctor or him and Paul opened up a lane that a Mack truck could drive through for A-Chan. I'm like, yes, please.
That's exactly what we're hoping for. Exactly what we're hoping for. All right, last guy we wanted to talk about in this particular show in our preseason week 1 preview a week early. Because you know what? We just wanted to get you the news early, guys. We wanted to get ahead.
It definitely wasn't an accident.
Definitely not.
No, this was all on purpose.
So Michael Taaffe is the other 4th round rookie that we have a chat with him, Cap for Life. We miss Frozen too. We do have a text chain with him. He doesn't message us often anymore, but he is alive and well as far as we know.
Yeah, well, he has been dealing with quite a lot of stuff going on, so we're giving him some grace. But Frozen, if you're watching, hope you're feeling okay, buddy.
Yeah. Caleb, honestly, I mean,
Chris Bell. No, I'm kidding. It's a toss up between Caleb and
Coleman
and
Tutu Malik.
Thank you,
Jaylen. Should I name all the receivers on our roster for you?
Thank you. It's one of those days, dude.
Let's talk about safety position, though. Michael Taaffe, the other 4th round rookie, actually selected ahead of Kyle Lewis, by the way. Oh, no, wait. That was the edge rusher. I apologize. Michael Taaffe, what round was he taking? Was he even earlier?
5.
No, he was 5th. Okay. 5th round pick, Michael Taaffe. He is coming in and actually competing for safety, starting safety position, because let's be honest, we don't really have much going on at the safety position. So Michael Taaffe is going to get a chance to come in and compete for a starting role right away. I believe with Lonnie Johnson Jr. Is who he's competing against, because I do think that Dante Trader probably has one of these positions locked down. So what we've heard about Michael Taaffe and why he fell so far is maybe his physical attributes aren't as
electrifying,
up to snuff as they need to be a higher round pick, but he loves the game of football, is incredibly intelligent, and is a strong leader. So what do we look for from a player like that when we're looking at him in the preseason? So
being the kind of last line of defense, I look for a few things. What's your communication like in the moment? Right, from passing receivers off if you're playing zone, to how do you protect the final third of the field as kind of the free safety? Because I don't think he's playing strong safety. Right, he is more of, in my opinion, he's more of a free safety. So he's the guy that's standing back there, that's looking at everything and protecting the deep balls. But also, he showed absolutely amazing instincts in college at Texas. I want to see those. I want to see the instincts. Again, just like we talked about Kyle Lewis. Trust your eyes. That's all I want to see. If you make a mistake, so be it. But I want you to trust your body, trust your mind, trust what you've studied and what you've learned in meetings and on the field in practice, and just implement it on the field.
Yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. I mean, there's not, he's a 5th round pick out of a big school like Texas. Like the stage should not be too big for him.
Yeah.
But guys who are under physically talented, who are not physically talented enough for most people to say that they're an NFL player, tend to stick in the NFL by, like you said, being smart in the field, knowing where to be. You can position yourself into a Hall of Fame career, right? Like if you're just the smartest guy on the field who knows where to be at all times, you can position yourself into having an incredibly successful career, regardless of how physically talented you are. You should go ask Zach Thomas. He's at training camp. Go ask him how he did it.
Yep. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Nobody would argue that Zach Thomas was the most physically gifted player on the field. Not even us super fans of him.
I mean, disagree. No, I'm kidding.
By the way, it was Trey Moore and Kyle Lewis in the 4th. It was Taaffe, Coleman, and Traore in the 5th, who Traore haven't heard a goddamn peep out of yet. So that is sad.
That's actually a lie, because I have an honorable mention for you, sir.
Go for it.
And it is no other than Mr. Sadou Traore himself.
Sadou.
Because there have been reports over the last couple days of practice. He's actually looked pretty good in blocking. He's looked good in the receiving game. He's looked good in the block and shed and kind of leach out for like a hot route or kind of a safety blanket, if you will. He's looked pretty good. And in a tight end room that outside of Kazmarek, who in my opinion is an elite level blocker already and is already showing the elite level blocking on the field in practice, it's pretty open. I mean, outside of Dulcich, let's be honest, it's open.
Yeah. I mean, Traore has got to be the most physically gifted tight end we have.
Oh,
it's just whether or not he can learn the game enough to get on the field.
Physically gifted tight end in the room is an understatement. You know what I mean?
Finn Fabric, welcome to the show.
Hey,
buddy. Exactly our point too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks if Savonaya keeps performing in training camp and Proctor keeps looking good, Brewer is already good. We don't need any training camp reports on him. He'll be fine. And Patrick Paul continues to grow. We're gonna have 4 out of 5, which is something
most teams don't have
in years. Most teams don't have. I mean, I don't know that the Seahawks had 4 out of 5 last year and they won the Super Bowl. Like it's just we're not in an 8.
They had JSN and
right. And the reality is, though, and I know like we have a lot of older fans. Dolphins fans are mostly older because they haven't won anything in a while. But the reality is, the NFL doesn't run like that anymore. They're not developing offensive linemen in college the way they used to back in the 90s and the early 2000s, where like there were powerhouse schools that gave you 3 offensive linemen that you could call Hall of Famers every single year. Like
every single year, yeah.
Like it doesn't happen. You barely get offensive linemen in the top 5 anymore. When it used to be a lock, you would have like 2 or 3. Yeah. Yep. Finn, we just got back to streaming, man. So last week was our first week back to streaming. We were
live.
We were doing recorded shows. Yeah. We were doing recorded shows all off season, and now we're back live Wednesdays for the time being, and then the week after preseason week 1, so the week after next. We'll be back to Mondays and Wednesdays live streaming. So we'll be here every Monday, Wednesday.
So during the season, Eastern. 7 Eastern during the season, in season, we're Monday and Wednesdays. Off season, we're live for up until the draft, and then post draft, we record all of our shows. Yeah,
because as nobody's tuning into live streams during that time, unfortunately.
No, sadly no. But they're still fun, right? It's still fun to get together, and for the ones that do view it. We do it for you guys.
Unfortunately, it is the end of this show. We do appreciate you popping in here. Join us next Wednesday as well. We ended up doing our preseason week 1 preview a little bit early. So next week, we have to talk about it, but we'll probably wrap up training camp because training camp's going to wrap up here in a couple days.
Maybe do a whole segment on rapid fire questions.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about, I think. We have a whole nother week of training camp ahead of us. There's going to be a lot of storylines to talk about.
Yeah, and for those of you watching live and for those of you that are going to watch later, I'm putting that out into the ether. There are going to be a ton of people that watch this after we're done. Put some questions in the comment section or put them in the chat now. Like we're happy to throw them up and let you guys steer the conversation. That's kind of what we love to do. So don't be shy. Throw them in the chat or throw them in the comment section.
Hey, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. You do a great job, and the Dolphins community are hungry. Are you surprised with how Camo has been? I am. Which player is Camo? I can't even. Do you know, Josh?
How Camo has been? No, I have no idea.
I'm trying to think of who's that a nickname for?
Camo.
Is it Caleb?
Oh, Camp. I was like, Camo, who the fuck is Camo?
How did we not put that together? Sorry for the idiocy happening on the other side of the camera here. Camp. Surprised with how Camp has been. Listen, yes, and we are going to talk all about it next Wednesday for sure because we are pleasantly surprised with a lot of these players.
Yep. I mean, look, for a season that is going to be wrought with frustration, understandable frustration, and a season that we're rebuilding. We're not supposed to be good.
Yeah.
So we're playing a lot of young guys. We're playing a lot of one year kind of roster guys. This team has looked pretty fucking good,
Yeah.
and from everything that we can see has looked really, really good. So I don't know, maybe they'll shock the world.
We have 6 more days to reach our goal of 250 subscribers. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your wives, tell your kids, everybody to subscribe. We need 41 more subscriptions by August 11th. And when we will give away a Miami Dolphins jersey, we are aching to give this dang jersey away. We just need 41 people to want to watch our show, or at least get notified that our show is, a thing. But we really do appreciate all of you 209 members who are already subscribed to the channel. We love each and every one of you for taking the dive and joining us. We are really excited for this football season. I know that the Dolphins don't look like they're going to be very good, but that just gives us even more to talk about. There's plenty of competitions going on with all the rookies that we have. There's plenty of growth that's bound to happen with a first-time NFL head coach, a team that's the youngest team in the NFL, and a quarterback who we don't exactly know what he is yet, but I'm really excited to find out, because quarterback is my favorite position, as it is for most people. Competition looks real, man. It looks real. Absolutely. All right, for Cap for Life and Finn Fabric in the chat, thank you so much for joining us tonight. True Blazer too, I know you popped in for a minute. If you're still here, buddy, thank you so much. For Josh, aka Aqua Ace, who's over here to my right.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I want
nonsense.
It's like swapping sides of the bed. It just doesn't work. I need to be over there.
This feels it's a Freaky Friday situation. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. We'll be back on the correct sides next week and talking about a topic that's actually correct and relevant to the information that's happening at the given time of the. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. I'm Anthony Pinzone. That's Josh, a.k.a. Aqua Ace. This is a 305 Gridiron. Until next time, fins up, baby.